Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Heavily Contested Podcast, the podcast where Trev's all alone. So, welcome to today's show.
Gee Willikers, sorry I'm late.
Oh, snap.
I'm
Sorry, I was doing the show.
Sorry I'm late, guys. Sorry I'm late. Gee Willikers. Oh, man. Sorry, I heard the Odell news for a split second. As a Niner fan, I passed out.
You just realized the season's over, huh?
Well, no, I knew that already. Come on now, let's not act silly now. But
This is some big news.
it is a lot to talk about. Do you want to start off with it?
Honestly, now let's be 100 right here, Dro.
Keep talking. I just forgot something.
Recently, Dro, Odell has not shown much, for being honest.
Yes.
In the past couple of years, he hasn't shown much. But the potential, how great he can be, we've seen in his rookie season and the 2 years after that, he ran for over 1,300 receiving yards.
Yes.
That's astonishing. Those are like the best numbers almost of all time in your first 3 years.
Yeah. No, he was great as a rookie.
Yeah, and then a little after that. But
yes, and young in his career.
ACL injuries, other injuries as well, definitely derailed him. And on top of that, his quarterback sucked. For him. Baker's not a terrible quarterback, but he's a terrible quarterback for Odell Beckham.
Their connection just could not get going.
So, most likely he is going to be on the Rams.
That's the rumor. Not the rumor anymore, but it's looking very likely that he's finalizing a deal with the Rams.
Yeah, at the time of this recording.
Yes.
And I feel like with the Rams, it's Cooper Kupp, Robert Woods, and Odell Beckham. They also have a solid running back in Darrell Henderson. And of course,
Tyler Higbee at tight end. Matthew Stafford at the helm.
Matthew Stafford is throwing him the ball. Yeah. So it is a scary offense. The only thing that I am kind of worried about is Cooper Kupp is already about to break a record, right?
He's looking like he's on pace right now, and with the 17 game season now.
Yeah, the only thing I'm worried about with Odell, either Cooper Kupp is no longer breaking that record, or Odell and Robert Woods are just going to be the decoys that get Cooper Kupp open. So that's the only thing I'm going to say about that.
Yeah, it's an interesting situation because for me, here's the one thing I'll say. I don't think this was a move that the Rams needed to make.
They shouldn't have done a receiver.
They didn't need to make this move.
Yeah, no.
They need O-line help still, a little bit on the interior. But there's still, it's not like it's horrible there either. Honestly, the Rams,
they're kind of
on paper look good. Maybe the linebacker position is like the only thing you can look at on the defensive end, but
maybe another DB, but
it's in the end, on paper, they're stacked from top to bottom, and especially if the rumor is Cam Akers might be able to return for the playoffs. Then if you get Cam Akers at running back, that's going to be deadly. But it just, for me, I feel like this wasn't a move that they needed to make, but it doesn't mean it's a bad move.
No,
it doesn't, because also I think what they do is they take away a player that could have been a viable piece to another team. Mm-hmm. They took away someone that could have went to Seattle. The rumor was Seattle, New Orleans, and Green Bay. And basically they just swiped them all for those NFC teams right there. The rumor was it was going to an NFC team, and the Rams just went in. So I got to admire the Rams for.
They're very aggressive.
Very aggressive. The most aggressive team in the NFL, and the way they work the cap space.
That makes no. Because how did they have Von Miller, Jalen Ramsey, Aaron Donald, and now Odell Beckham?
They know how to handle, the cat space and everything, man. They know how to work and kind of just hang on the edge right there. I gotta give them a lot of credit for that too. But what this means for the team, they just took a bad loss that we'll get into a little later. But like you, and even for Odell's sake,
I thought he wanted to revive his career. This isn't gonna revive his career.
I don't think it's gonna. Me personally, I don't know. I think it could be a little hard trying to bring in someone new, especially with the way Cooper Kupp has kind of been just the main cat. Even Robert Woods has taken a big.
Yeah, he
hasn't gotten the attention, on his side. In the end, it's been mostly Cooper Kupp, leading the offense. But as we say that, maybe now, because of that,
Maybe they start distributing the ball a little more.
Maybe it starts opening up. Maybe it starts opening up things a little bit. It depends on Stafford in the end too, because if Stafford's just comfortable throwing to Cooper Kupp, he's just going to keep throwing to Cooper Kupp. So hopefully they can establish a connection there. Either way, that does make them a much more dangerous team.
Yeah, it does.
It makes them
Definitely does.
A speedster like Odell. Thing is, too, is the reason why I say they don't even need it is because I thought they kind of had a third receiver, especially when they went away from
Jefferson is
looking nice.
Pretty nice, yeah.
He's looking like a solid number 3 receiver, and especially because of the fact that they felt like they can move on from Deshaun Jackson because they had Van Jefferson. That's when I thought, okay, they kind of like where they are. I'm pulling. If you see me looking down, it's because I'm trying to pull up Van Jefferson's stats. But 433 yards receiving right now at the midpoint of the season is not bad. That's pretty good. And even Robert Woods is at 500. So Robert Woods is probably going to get another 1,000-yard season. It just feels a little more quiet than
it's just Cooper
before.
Kupp is the main offense. He's pretty much all of the offense. So I think what this Odell move is either saying is Robert Woods not going to be on the team next year, or they're just all in on the Super Bowl and they're kind of being like the Bucks, where they just want to get all the best players that they can. It don't matter if our third best receiver is Antonio Brown. Mm-hmm. We still going to try to get whoever we can.
We're going to, I do think this kind of has, especially because Odell's a guy who has a little more time, left in his career.
Yeah.
We could see possibly a move on from Robert Woods. That's a good point, actually. But overall, does this make the Rams even more dangerous than they already are? Yes.
100%.
Is it completely necessary? No. But what it also does is it takes away what could have been a big piece to a lot of other teams.
It is smart,
right now.
though, because, if you take a player that someone else can't get, you don't have to go against him. He's on your team.
He's on your team. And especially if you could find a way to make him work in your system. And here's the thing, too. Actually, I feel like I'm doubting Sean McVay a little bit, which I shouldn't do.
He's a great coach.
Because he's a great coach, great offensive mind. So, if he gets a piece like that, he's going to know how to make it work. We'll talk about the game, though, that they just had later, because that was interesting. So let's transition into our midseason report now.
Oh, yeah. I got some juice.
So obviously the big move that just happened, right? That's a big part of it. Now we hit the mid-season point. Week 9. We have 9 more weeks to go. Crazy that this season's going by really fast. It's been a great season, too, so far. A lot of interesting games. But we're going to start with our top 5 teams so far. I know you have a couple honorable mentions. Stop peeking.
I want to look so bad. I really want to know.
I know. Stop peeking. And I know you have a couple honorable mentions too. I want to hear.
I got my shield up on here. So, my honorable mentions. It's sad. It's really sad to say. It sucks because at the beginning of the season they looked terrible. Mm-hmm. Now they started to look good, but they just lost their best player, Derrick Henry. So I put the Titans as an honorable mention. They have been looking really good, but it's just without Derrick Henry, the remaining schedule, it doesn't even matter to me.
You don't think it's...
They're honorable mention. I have them as number 6 because of no Derrick Henry. But if Derrick Henry was on here, they might be my 2 or 3, to be honest.
So you don't think at all, like...
No, I don't. I think
that they can't survive this rest of the schedule.
No, I think they can survive, but I don't think they're better than these 5 teams because of
Derrick Henry. In the end,
when he comes back, though,
the rumor is Derrick Henry should be available by playoff time, which is kind of the only time you need him.
Yeah. Then, also honorable mention I have is the Ravens. The Ravens are a great team. Obviously, they can win games, but as we've seen, they can lose some games.
Yes.
Due to the fact that
they're still dealing.
Lamar is still doing everything.
Yeah, and they're dealing with injuries a lot right now.
Yeah. This is I would say they're like my number 7 team. I have the Ravens as like my number 8. And this is gonna be a little controversial, I feel like, because we have a special viewer, Dro's mother.
Oh.
Hey, Mom. But I got the Cowboys as an honorable mention due to their last game, which we'll elaborate about later. But after that, I was like...
You had to move them out?
I was like... They were like I had them as like number 3. Mm-hmm. And after that game, I was like, hell no.
Really?
Hell no. They really didn't score. But
Yeah.
we'll
Garbage time points for them, really.
Do you want me to finish the rest of my list?
So those were your honorable mentions?
Those are my honorable
Okay,
mentions.
I'll give mine. First one, the Bucks. The Bucks. I don't have them in the top 5. Solely because I still feel like there are stronger teams out there. I truly do. And it's more so because of the Bucks' injuries to that secondary. That defense is not the same as it once was. Because we've seen, even when Trevor Siemian came in, Trevor Siemian, who struggled against the Falcons' defense, was able to succeed a little more against Tampa Bay. Now, granted, they didn't have time to prepare for him. But still, I don't feel like this secondary is as strong as it was last year due to those injuries. And Richard Sherman, he even got hurt a couple weeks too. I don't see it with this Bucks secondary as much. So I have to put them right there. I consider them my 8. Consider them my 8. Yeah, crazy, right? At 7, I have the Ravens. Trevor's pretty much hit all the points right there. In the end, there's top offensive team right now in their in their entire rankings, but in the end, they're dealing with injuries on that defensive end and with the O-line, and it's a heavy reliance on Lamar Jackson to the point where it's definitely gonna hurt them come playoff time if teams are gonna prepare a little better for it. They're the best rushing team in the NFL right now, and top 10 in passing, but that can only get you so far, especially with your defense hurt and Lamar being the main catalyst for all that. They need
100%.
help. My 6th team. This is interesting. The Bills. You said the Cowboys. They had a shameful performance. They should have taken them out. The Bills had a more shameful performance in my eyes because at least Denver is a viable team.
I forgot about with the Bills.
Yeah, so the Denver is at least Denver started off 3-0. They started off 3-0 and they have a good defense. They have a good defense. But the Bills lost
to the
Jaguars 9-3 if I recall.
It's 9-6.
Yeah. 9-6. Doesn't even matter. You only scored 6 against Jacksonville. There's a
Josh Allen, not the quarterback Josh Allen, the other Josh Allen
proved who was a better Josh Allen.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. There's a couple things I want to get into about this Bills team. First of all, their total defense is first in the league.
I've been said this.
And obviously, yes, with the safety tandem that they have with Micah Hyde and Jordan Poyer. It's Tre'Davious White on the other end for a DB spot. It's a top-tier defense. Terrell Edmonds, I could just go on. And they held Jacksonville 9 points. This offense has some issues. And I know we looked at, once we saw the Chiefs game and then, a couple other games, we wanted to hail them as a top because they beat Kansas City. But as we're seeing, Kansas City isn't even that big of a win anymore these days.
Yeah, but they were blowing teams out, though, like you said.
Oh, they were. They were doing their job, but now what has happened since?
They've been a little slow.
They in the end, they had a loss that shouldn't have happened to the Steelers, right? They lose to the Titans.
What?
Titans are good, but now you lose to Jacksonville. And it's this offense has no running game right now. Rushing wise, this offense is bottom. It's one of the bottom teams with rushing.
Yeah, they don't know how to
they don't. I don't know. It's weird. Devin Singletary is not.
They don't have running back, honestly. Zach Moss or Devin Singletary.
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah, it's a nah.
It's not fully there, with the rushing game. So they need help with the rushing. And then thing is too is it feels Stephon Diggs' connection with Josh Allen's a little off.
It's a little off this year. It's not as great as it was last year.
Not as great as it was last year. It's not as deadly.
He's been using Dawson Knox a little more.
Yeah.
Emmanuel Sanders and Cole Beasley are in the mix. He kind of distributes the ball a lot.
Yeah. And funny enough, for a Bills team that should have really only made improvements, this feels like a team that isn't as strong. They're not looking as strong as last year, in my opinion. In my personal opinion, they're not looking as consistently strong.
They looked better last year, honestly.
As consistently strong. So I have to move them out of this. It's just, iffy losses and really performances that are just questionable.
You gotta win.
You gotta win those games, man. Those are games you have to win. So I have to move them out just because of that at 6.
Okay. Well, I have to build at 5. So it's not Not much of a difference.
No.
Very similar.
In the end, they're still a talented roster.
Yeah,
they just need to put it together.
One of your teams that you had as honorable mention, I have pretty high. But
same here.
Yeah.
Really high.
Yeah. My number 4 team is the Los Angeles Rams. They have to be in here. Mm-hmm. Obviously they just got Odell as well. Might have to move him up after his first game.
Yeah.
But they're on here. My number 3, I have the Green Bay Packers. Now the Green Bay Packers, obviously the last game they just lost to the Chiefs, but we know they didn't have their bad man.
Yeah. If they had Aaron Rodgers, they would have won that game.
Yeah. But the Packers are still a dangerous team. They started out very slow.
And they're not even fully healthy yet. They're going to get Jair Alexander back, Zadarius Smith back to the yard.
They're going to be a scary team.
Mm-hmm.
Team that I have on here that Dro had as an honorable mention is the Tampa Bay Bucks.
Wow, you have them at 2.
I have them at number 2. The reason why I have the Tampa Bay Bucks on here is because they have the best player of all time, Tom Brady, and he's one of the best quarterbacks in the league still to this day.
Yeah.
To this day.
Right.
Okay, and he's 65 years old, still throwing and running. He gets in a wheelchair after the games, and he's still destroying defenses of people that are 25.
It's a top 3 offense led by him. So
and they still definitely do have. Is Shaquille Barrett's not? Sure. He's not doing too much, but I do know the talent that he has.
So to add on to your point, the Bucks didn't look too great in the regular season last year too, right?
Yeah.
But what they did is when it came to the time that it mattered, the playoffs, they stepped up another level.
Yeah.
This is still a team that can do that.
Yeah. So it's not just about what they do in the regular season because Tom Brady, if he gets in the playoffs, it's kind of like LeBron.
Yeah.
He's gonna make it pretty far in the playoffs. He's not gonna.
It's another switch that flips. You know what I mean?
It's not like the playoffs and then he might lose in the first. Mm-hmm. No, he's gonna go to the AFC Championship or he's going to the Super Bowl. It's guaranteed.
So remember, this is regular season rankings. In the end, just because I have Tim Bay, the honorable mention, Travis has them up too. They're kind of around that area. In the end, they're still probably one of the most dangerous teams come playoff time.
I think as long as you say their name, it's.
Do you want to say number 1 until I get there too?
I'll wait till you get to number
1. Number 5, the Dallas Cowboys.
Okay.
Or actually, my apologies. I put the switch mark here. I switched the Rams with the Cowboys. I put the Rams at 5. Okay. Of course, they just made the Odell move, so that's a big move, and let's see how it works out. But that was a rough loss to the Tennessee Titans, and it looked sloppy. And this isn't the first time that this Rams team looked sloppy. You know what I mean? Even in the games that they won, they almost lost to the Lions at home. There's been games where, and then, even when they went into Seattle without Russell Wilson for pretty much the second half of that game, and this is a Seattle defense that has allowed people to throw on them. Stafford has looked off in many occasions, and he started kind of come back in with the Giants game, and then the Texans game. It started to look like he was getting back in the MVP conversation, and then he has a game where he throws 2 picks, one being a pick 6, very turnover heavy. And the thing is too is the Rams are at the 20, pretty much in the 20 below spot for rushing. So yeah, they do have great running backs, but they haven't been able to get it going. And in the end too, I know Darrell Henderson's a viable back, Sony Michel's a viable back, but they're not how Cam Akers looked at the end of the year. You know what I mean? It's obvious that they miss Cam Akers because that rushing game is the one thing that's holding that offense back truly 100%. From being well-balanced. Sean McVay used to have a well-balanced offense back when he had Todd Gurley, and then he had Jared Goff working off the play action, throwing to receivers like Cooper Kupp, Robert Woods, Brandon Cooks even. That's when the offense was at its peak. You know what I mean? Yeah. I'm not seeing that well-balanced, oiled machine right now. I'm seeing a heavy reliance on the pass game. And because of that, teams are able to prepare for it a little easier.
Yeah.
So I have to put them at 5. 4, the Cowboys. They were at my number 1 spot right before this week. And it was a bad loss. But what I want to say is that loss didn't feel like the Broncos being better than the Cowboys.
The Cowboys
it felt
just
more
didn't
like
show up.
it felt more like the Cowboys having an off day. And we see teams have that a lot, very often. The reason why I still have the Cowboys in my top 5 and even at 4, because of that big win that they had the week before against a solid Vikings team, where they had Cooper Rush at quarterback. Hold on. Oh, hold on. And we're back. Okay. For some reason the audio was acting up there. But so yeah, what I was saying about the Cowboys, with Cooper Rush, that was a big win. It showed how complete this team is. The biggest thing holding this Cowboys team back is coaching. In the end, Mike McCarthy is not a coach that I'd hail as a top 10 coach right now. He's not. He has horrible clock management. I don't think he's truly a coach. He's kind of a coach that's just holding them back, I feel like. You know what I mean?
He's not pushing them over the top.
No, definitely not. Definitely not. So that's what I'm putting the Cowboys there. Number 3, the Cardinals. Cardinals at 3. They looked good against the Niners. They outcoached the Niners. That being said, it is the Niners. It is the Niners. But I can't lie. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't impressed, though, still. You know what I mean? It shows that Cliff Kingsbury's actually stepped up his game as a coach. He truly came in with a good offensive game plan. Screens, dink and dunks, and then the deep shots once they feel like the defense commits. It was a great scheme that worked very well.
The Cardinals defense.
Yeah, and the Cardinals defense had a great scheme going against the Niners as well. I do think this is a solid, very complete team. But they're not better than these other two right now at this point, I believe. The Packers at number 2. Green Bay's at number 2. Because they beat the Cardinals while not being fully healthy. And they're only going to get better, more complete. Their loss against the Chiefs was without Aaron Rodgers. We know if they had Aaron Rodgers, it would be a much different story.
100%.
Right? So that's why I have to have the Packers at 2. In the end, they have a top 10 defense now and a top 5 offense.
Okay.
So it's looking very much. They look more complete defensively this year too than they did last year, I would say. So I have to have them at 2.
I'm very curious. I have no clue who your number 1 team is. I don't even want to say who my number 1 team is.
Do you want to go first or no?
I don't want to go first. After hearing your list.
You want to hear?
No, yeah, please, Joe. Who is your number 1 team?
The best team in the league right now, the team that is right now at the top, is the Tennessee Titans. They are the best team in the NFL right now. Here's a couple reasons why. I'll tell you why. Remember this Tennessee Titans team? Remember how
you actually wrote that down?
I did. I wrote that down. The Tennessee Titans right now are playing like the best team in the NFL right now.
The Titans are better than the Packers, the Bucks, the Cowboys, the Cardinals, the Bills, the Ravens.
Yep. Definitely. Right now. The way they're playing right now, I have to put Tennessee up there. Here's the thing. They earned my respect on Sunday. They earned my respect with the game that they played. They went into LA without Derrick Henry and came in with a better game plan. Just a better game plan. Put pressure on Stafford. And here is my main reason for this Tennessee Titans. Defense, at least. The defense has stepped up to now inside the top 20. They started off as a bottom 20 defense, and they have now stepped it up. Here's the main reason why. Kevin Byard, their starting safety. First Pro Football Focus grading this season at a 90. 5 interceptions, which is second in the NFL, only 2 behind Trayvon Diggs. Correct? 5 pass breakups, first among safeties. 1 forced fumble. And 2 defensive touchdowns, 1 being a pick 6. Right now, he is playing like the best safety in the NFL. And he's always been a top 10 safety that's never been given enough respect. But right now, he is playing like a top 1 safety right now.
Top 2 and not 2.
Top 2 and not 2. So I like what I see from this Titans defense. Secondary wise, they picked it up, and they've been good teams. In the end, you can't deny what they've done. They have been solid teams. And then also on the pass rush, Harold Landry with 9 sacks as well. Ooh. Harold Landry, 9 sacks. Get to know the name. Justin Simmons at a D tackle spot with 5 sacks, which is huge from a D tackle spot because we know
that is good.
Usually D tackles,
double teams.
D tackles should not be getting 5 sacks, which is why Aaron Donald to this day is still incredible with what he does. But still, the pass rush has stepped its game up, and that's helped the secondary, and it's led by the main catalyst, which is Kevin Byard, who I felt like deserved a lot of praise. They have been good teams offensively. Tannehill's still doing his thing. Stat-wise, he doesn't look as good, but what he does for a team as a game manager and being able to help manufacture and lead this team down the field, I like what I see from this Titans team, and it's only going to get better when they get Derrick Henry back.
The reason why I have them as an honorable mention is because Derrick Henry was the only consistent offensive player that I've seen.
I've seen A.J. Brown step up, too.
He stepped it up.
And
but in the beginning, he
and rush. Tannehill feeling it, steps up. He's going to run. He's got the first down.
Obviously, he's going to be very injury prone. But if they all stay healthy, obviously this Titans team is very talented.
Yeah.
And Dro's already spoken about this team, but I have the Cardinals as the best team in the NFL.
I can't argue with that.
Being on the fact that they're very talented on both sides of the ball.
Yeah.
Both sides of the ball, you have to be scared of many different people.
Yeah.
J.J. Watt's probably not coming back, but Chandler Jones is, in the first week, he had 5 sacks.
Yeah.
In 1 week. And on top of that, they have Isaiah Simmons, who's been looking great. They have Budda Baker. They have a bunch of other players out there as well who just go out there and make plays.
Yeah.
I think Byron Jones, they got a bunch of dogs out there, man. And obviously, they have someone who can be, I feel like if he's utilized in the right way, DeAndre Hopkins, the best wide receiver in the NFL. If he's utilized in the right way, but he's not right now. All right. But, yeah.
Whatever, dude.
So, I got the Cardinals as the team to beat in the NFL.
Okay, so, yeah, definitely I can't argue with that. Just for me, in the end, you can't deny right now that Tennessee has the best record in the AFC, and they have been good teams to get there.
Yeah, I was gonna have the Cowboys in my top 5, but I was like, dang, didn't I have 5 NFC teams?
Yeah.
I was like, I gotta.
Well, here's the thing. The
NFC.
AFC is very inconsistent right now, and that's the reason why I also want to put the Titans up there. It's because they seem like right now, at this point, they seem to be one of the only consistent teams I'm seeing.
Yeah, all the AFC teams.
And here's what's dangerous about the Titans. I just want to mention it right now, too. Is because if they keep playing like this, they're going to learn how to survive without Derrick Henry.
Yeah,
and that's dangerous.
Be scary, yeah.
And that's dangerous because then when they do get him, they have Derrick Henry to rely on, and they know how to adjust without him.
And they know how to use A.J. Brown.
In the end, Mike Vrabel, that coach, they need a lot of credit for what they're doing right now. And if it keeps going on for Tennessee, and they get that bye, and then you give Derrick Henry an extra week to come back for that playoffs too, this is a dangerous Titans team. If that secondary keeps playing, if that secondary and D-line keeps playing the way they are, I'm going to keep running high on the Titans.
All right.
I'm going to keep running high on the Titans.
So who are your players that you think have stepped it up this year, Joe? Who's your players, rookies, and veterans?
We'll save MVP for last, right?
Okay.
I
really want to look.
You gotta stop looking, bro.
I didn't read nothing.
All right.
But you want to start with defensive rookie of the year?
Yeah.
My defensive rookie of the year, I think rookie of the year, I don't even think this is
too many debates on each one.
There's no debates on the 2 players for offense and defense. I think defense comes from the Dallas Cowboys.
Okay.
And his name is Micah Parsons. He plays linebacker and defensive end. He has a lot of sacks, a lot of tackles. He's a big dude.
Yeah. He's got 5 sacks right now from a middle linebacker position. So they put him everywhere. He's got 52 total tackles. Yeah. Second on the team.
I really don't think there's much arguments. You don't have a second person.
No.
Yeah,
No,
okay.
I don't think there's so much competition with the defensive.
Also, offense. You have a second offensive person?
No,
do
but
we-
I mean, I have a name that can be mentioned, but not even close to where this first one is.
Okay, well,
Go ahead.
my
and name it first.
offensive rookie of the year, I got Mike White.
Yeah.
He said he should have been the number 1 overall pick, and I agree with him, man. He showed out this year, man. But sometimes that was on Halloween. Jamar Chase was dressed up as Mike White, so
Oh,
that's what I meant.
there you go.
Yeah, that's what I
Okay,
meant.
there you go. You
But,
had me as word for a second.
Jamar Chase is the offensive rookie of the year. It's not even close. Who's your other name?
Yeah, Jamar Chase right now, 835 yards receiving, 44 receptions. And this early midway into the season, he's definitely bound to have he could break Justin Jefferson's receiving records
Yeah, that
that
would be
Jefferson
sick.
just broke last year. So, Jamar Chase is definitely the favorite. And Mac Jones is a notable guy, but he's not putting up the numbers that Jamar.
I wouldn't. Yeah, no.
Of course, but you got to give credit to what Mac Jones is doing as a
Yeah,
rookie
because
as
the
well.
Patriots weren't supposed to be good at all, or
and-
even average. They're supposed to be bad.
And look what they're doing right now, you know? They're looking really good. What do you want to do? Actually, I want to do comeback player of the year. I don't know if you have that.
I didn't make it.
But it's an obvious one. Dak Prescott is comeback player of the year.
Obviously. They always give it to the injured dudes. I kind of like it. I wish comeback player of the year was someone that wasn't good.
That's why
how
I
it
wish
is in the NBA.
that's why they had the most improved award.
Oh.
I wish there was a most improved award that they do on NFL Honors, because if there was a most improved, I was gonna say Sam Darnold, but that was before Sam Darnold started to really disappoint me as well. Who would you say is the most improved? We didn't research this one too much, but just going off the top of your head, Trayvon Diggs, most improved.
No, pass. I don't think I
got it. Debo Samuel is the most improved player.
Debo Samuel.
Debo Samuel's the most improved player this season.
Or you could say Cooper Kupp.
Cooper Kupp too, but Cooper Kupp was still putting up 1,000-yard receiving numbers too.
Yeah, but
this is Debo's breakout season.
He wasn't that good before this.
Yeah,
but yeah. Defensive player of the year. I think this one is a big toss-up this year.
Mm-hmm.
All honesty.
I got 3 candidates.
Yeah. There's a bunch of people you can say. People like to say Trayvon Diggs. I don't think he's in that conversation.
No.
I really like what I've seen.
He's in the conversation though.
I'm not putting him in the conversation.
Okay, but then who are you putting over him?
I like Myles Garrett.
Yes.
Love to say Myles Garrett.
Yeah. Double-digit sacks already midway through the season.
Oh, yeah. If he wasn't a rookie, I would say Micah Parsons. Because I really like what he's done for the Cowboys defense.
I can't put him over Trayvon. In the end, I can't put him over Trayvon. Who's your other one? Do you have another one?
And
you have to have
who my actual defensive player of the year is, though.
Your actual?
It's Max Crosby.
Now,
listen to this. I've already said this 10,000 times. 90. He has like a 92 PFF grade.
Oh, yes.
People don't know that. But on top of that, he also is leading the league in QB pressures and QB hits. And if you think about this, you look back on the Raiders, we've been last in sacks over the past 5 years. And now that's our most lethal thing that we do. And it's thanks mostly to Mad Max.
I mean, Max Crosby only has 5 sacks. So.
But I didn't say sacks.
I know, but sacks have to go with it too, in a sense.
It does.
I feel
but there's other people on our team that get sacks.
Mm-hmm.
So there's Solomon Thomas, Yannick Ngakoue. They help us out. So Max is the pressure dude.
So here's the one thing I gotta say. Maybe this is just how I view the award. Stats go big into it. The little things. I feel like the stuff that doesn't show up on the stat sheet, that has to go in the MVP talk a little more. I think. The stuff that shows up on the stat sheet, that's defensive and offensive player of the year awards. So my defensive player of the year candidates, Trayvon Diggs, of course. In the end, you can't deny the amount of interceptions he's had. Yes, he's given up big plays throughout this entire season, but you can't deny what he's done giving the ball back to that offense.
That is true.
My second one, and I already mentioned his name, Kevin Byard. Kevin Byard is my second choice for defensive player of the year right now. He's the best safety in football. He's playing like the best safety in football. Second most interceptions, pass breakups. He's topping that. So he has to be second. But number 1 is Myles Garrett. 12 sacks already right now in the season at the midway point. And he's the biggest piece to that Browns defense. So yeah. And you kind of hit it on the head already with that.
Myles Garrett is very talented. I think he'll still be great in his years. Way past now.
Yeah. Offensive player. This, I don't know if it should be a debate. I don't think it should be.
This isn't a debate.
Who is it?
Hunter Renfrow.
I'm going to go with another.
Cooper Kupp. Other white receiver.
Yeah, I'm going Cooper Kupp.
But yeah, Cooper Kupp is going to break a record this year, most likely, I think. And
he's going to break a couple
nobody
records.
even cared who he was before this season. I mean, obviously you knew who he was, but did you care about Cooper Kupp?
Okay, I cared about him, but I didn't know he was going to be this good. This is another level that we're seeing from Cooper.
This is 100% Pro Bowl. This is all pro first team.
Yeah.
Nobody thought that.
Yeah. So, no, he's doing great right now.
So that's cool, but I think this MVP award is very weird. Usually MVP is not that much of a toss-up.
It is.
It's kind of a toss-up right now.
It is. Who do you have?
Now, obviously, Kyler Murray has been in here. Josh Allen has been in here. Lamar Jackson. Even in the beginning, we had Derek Carr in there.
Yeah, how wrong that one turned out to be.
I have Tom Brady.
It's funny because when you name any candidate, there's a point that we made for every single one of them. To be honest, it's like you can't just get mad at that.
Tom Brady.
So no,
it's because of what I said earlier. He's 70 years old, and
70.
He was 65 5 minutes ago, and now he's 70, and he's still the best player on his team, most valuable player on his team.
Yeah,
and they're winning games.
Games. Again, I can't argue with it. In the end, he's second in the league in passing yards, and his touchdown to interception ratio right now is pretty insane. 25 passing touchdowns to 5 interceptions, and it's a Bucs team that only has 2 losses. So, you can't argue with it. Me personally, again, I'd say MVP goes down to someone who also doesn't go too much on the stat sheet. It does a lot more. I know it's a toss-up, but for me right now, clearly when I see it through my eyes, it's clearly Lamar Jackson.
Okay.
For me.
Yeah. You see my reaction?
Yeah. For me, it's Lamar Jackson. Yes, his touchdown to interception ratio isn't the best among quarterbacks. Right now, though, he's 9th in passing yards for being a so-called running back. And he's still doing something that other running backs do, which is being top 10 in rushing yards.
Yeah.
That right there.
I've never even seen that before.
Yeah. That right there is amazing. He's 6th in rushing yards with 600 rushing yards and 9th in passing yards. That, to me, I know.
And he's already won an MVP, and he's still in the MVP.
And this is a Ravens team that's been worse than the last 2 Ravens teams because of injuries, not because it's just because of injuries.
The roster, what they have out there on the field,
yes,
and they're still winning a lot of games.
Yes, no. For me, I think it just when it comes, and you said it before early in episodes, when it comes to the title of truly a most valuable player.
There's nobody more valuable
to a team than Lamar Jackson.
Nobody.
And we're going to end off